Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of World of Warcraft. Ooh, hello, I just gained a whisper. Somebody's whispered me. They say, hi, Dratnos. Hello. I'm recording right now. Smiley face. Let's set ourselves to do not disturb. /DND will mean we're here. /DND, recording. That should mean that whenever anybody sends me a request, it's gonna say recording, and I won't get notified, probably. Right.
They'll all be mine in the end.
I am to understand that another of those foolish dwarven mountaineers has just been captured. The one that we saw earlier. He hasn't been captured. He's been captured for quite a while. The Death Guard has him stored here in this building, and they've assigned one of their own to persuade him not to escape. Why don't you go see the captured mountaineer enjoys this special drink I made for him. It contains a subtle hint of what the Dark Lady has planned for the rest of Azeroth. Well, that's pleasant. That is super pleasant. We got our special drink here. Da 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 da. Here's captured mountaineer. Why, if I had my trusted rifle, you'd be as good as dead, warrior. Just wait until the Steam Tank Brigade arrives to rescue me. Ah, drink at last. What matter of ale is this? I'm sure it's no Rhapsody malt, but I'll take anything to wet the old whistle at this point. And we can gain a belt that's leather, or bracers, or no, that's gloves that are mail. Let's take those mail gloves. Boom. I'll raise my brew and hope to rid the likes of you. Cheers, you no-good scoundrel, Dratnos. Oops. Oh, and he's now dead. That is unpleasant. Well done. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. We need to turn that in now. Oh, there he is. Okay. The guy that we turned it into decided he wanted to walk upstairs, while we wanted to jump downstairs. Well, that's nice. Gotta love that, don't you? Let's see. As you're probably already realizing, the Royal Apothecary Society is a widespread organization. We take our plague... Wow, the Mountaineers respawn. That's annoying. Alchemy very seriously. It is our belief that the more agents we have performing experiments, the sooner we will realize our objective. One of our agents performs his work at a small encampment to the north of here. His name is Gerald, and he could use an apprentice of your stature. Okay. Sounds good. And that guy still doesn't have a quest for us this level. He might next. So we now have to do either Forsaken Duties to go down there, or Garen's Haunt. Forsaken Duties, neither one actually says what level they are next to them, but they're both yellow, which means they're appropriate for our level. However, I'm going to take the one I got first, which is the one that goes down here. So we're going to go ahead and do Forsaken Duties first. Seems like a good idea. Yes. Mushroom farmer here. Cool. We'll just sell our stuff.
Farewell.
Oh, we've got some more linen cloth, by the way, that we can make into some lovely bandages later. Some awesome bandages, although by that guy who just whispered me, his name is Dratnos Heals, so I assume that he's going to be trying to become a healer for me. Oh, let me see if I can actually guild invite him. /G invite Dratnos Heals. There you go. Ta-da! We'll add him to our guild. Sounds good. So yeah, it's that easy to invite people to the guild. Ta-da! And Magistrate Severin wants to report. Very well. The defenders at the Bulwark are holding the majority of the Scourge at bay, but some do slip through on occasion. We've seen sporadic Scourge activity east of this station, with a concentration around the Balnear farmstead.
Goodbye.
Okay.
What is it?
It's so cold now. The plague of undeath crawls through my veins like an icy serpent. The mindless state will be upon me soon. But no doomed destiny will prevent me from serving our Dark Lady. When the call arose, I sewed body bags for the fallen soldiers of Sylvanus' mighty army. Now, my hands shake from the chill. If you would bring me 5 duskbat pelts, I could sew myself a blanket. Help me, Dratnos, so that I can continue to serve the cause. So the mindless state, that's what happens to undead if they're of weak minds, is that they'll eventually go crazy. If you're Forsaken. That's kind of the downside to being Forsaken, is that you eventually, unless you can, like, you'll eventually revert to being a Scourge, mindless, undead, theoretically. Although it's possible to be indefinitely free of that. by just being constantly fighting it off. But it is a constant battle that we undead must fight. Now, we're near hills. Hills are often where you're going to find ore. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and walk along the hill, if at all possible. Looks like we only need to kill dust bats, so we'll try and avoid these little guys here. But we'll walk along this hill this way. Can we do that? Yeah, there's still dust bats this way. There's a greater dust bat right there, actually. Let's charge him. And if there was any ore, we'd start seeing it on our map as we get close enough for it to spawn. There should be some along here. If there isn't, then it's probably just spawned elsewhere in the map. Or they appear in little veins, and you go up to them and you mine them, and it's very simple. Easy little ore gathering process. There's another dusk bat that way, but we're going to try and skirt the edge of this mountain. There we go. There's a copper vein. You can also see it used to have a little up arrow next to it. That meant that it was at higher altitude than us, which is always a good little way so that you know if you're at the same X and Y coordinates, what Z it's on. Or if you're using Minecraft coordinates, X and Z coordinates, what Y it's on. Here we go. Just mine it by right-clicking. And there we go, we gained our copper ore and some rough stone. And if we use jewel crafting, /cast jewel crafting, or we should probably move it over there, eventually we'll be able to use our rough stone to make statues, and our copper to make copper rings by using copper bars to make copper wire, and it all gets pretty useful from there. We'll go ahead and actually move jewel crafting over to the side there. There it is, just so we have an easy icon to click. I'm used to just typing in /cast to do things, but that's often a bad way of doing things. Alright, here we have a vampiric dust bat. It's higher level than before, but I think we're level 8 as well, so we can probably take this guy. We can almost certainly take this guy. Yeah, we've taken this guy. Guy's in serious trouble here, this little bat. Hoya! Hoya! Hiya! You don't get to see your weapons when you're like when you're first personed. That's why first person is something that is not all that rewarding in this game. Because you don't actually see yourself attacking at all. It's a shame. It's a great shame. There we go. Vampiric dust bat. Taste our lumberjack axe because that's a good idea. Lumberjack axe, yeah. Why don't we use that to slay things? And we need to find one more dusk bat, not a bear. Let's avoid bears. Let's just find a dusk bat. And then we'll return to there anyway. So there should be one along this path as we return to base. That way in the opposite direction leads to the plague lands behind us. And that's where the bulwark is, which is the like a joint fortification of the Forsaken and the Argent Dawn against the Scourge, which is it's kind of cool. The Argent Dawn basically they're good guys that are against bad undead, and they're from any races, so there are a lot of Forsaken even among them. And they're basically like, Scourge is bad, but other Forsaken, or other undead, if they're Forsaken, for example, are fine, because they have free will, and we only care about the bad undead, which is a very nice and progressive way of thinking. Here we go, Vampiric Duskbat. Taste cold axe, steel thing. Hiya! Down he goes. Do-do-do. So each race actually has their own starting zone, which is nice and awesome. And they each, they each have at least their own little starting area. A lot of them by this level, like Trolls and Orcs, would be doing the same quests by level 8. But up until level 5, they do different things.
What do you require?
Do you have 5 Duskbat pelts yet, Dratnos? I appreciate your efforts, Dratnos. May Sylvanas recognize your bravery one day. And we get some new bracers.
Trust no.
Bracers go on your wrists, and you rarely actually see bracers. They're like the least seen slot because your gloves often cover them up. You should return to Magistrate Severin with the information I gave you. He'll want it as soon as possible, so be swift. Okay? Let us be swift. Unfortunately, our Hearthstone is still on cooldown. It's on cooldown. We can only use it once every 30 minutes. So we'll head on back to Brill, as you can see it over there. It looks like they actually have lightning coming down to one of the orbs in the building there. Very cool. Very super awesome cool. Yeah, there he is. Lightning. Fire and lightning. Very, very frightening. Wait, thunder and lightning. Very, very frightening. Yes, there it is. There's your reference. Whew! This game is full of references, by the way, if you haven't already figured that out from the Scarlet Letter quest earlier. This game continues to make references. There's references to pretty much everything ever in this game. That's one of the joys of this game is when you recognize a lot of them. Recognize, even. And if there's a reference that I've missed, go ahead and say it in the comments, because I'd love to increase my knowledge thereof. Cool, so in we go. Like a reference that I played through and I didn't realize it was a reference. Not like references that I haven't played through yet. Trade supplies over here. Yeah, so here we can actually... Let's learn our cooking a little bit. If we just buy We can shift click, and we can buy 40 each of simple flour and mild spices. And is there a campfire around here? No, okay, we'll make our own little fire. Inside a building, because that makes sense. And we'll just go ahead and cook up... Oh, we can actually cook up some crispy bat wings. We'll save that for later, though. We're going to do spice bread first, because we can actually mass produce spice bread, because we can just buy from a vendor all the stuff needed to make it. And you just hit create all, and you can start your crafting. Cooking, again, is a secondary profession, which means anybody can have it, regardless of what other ones you have equipped. Mining and jewel crafting are the two ones I have that mean I can't have any other, professions. There's secondaries and primaries. You can have 2 primaries and all 4 secondaries. And, yeah. It's cool. It's awesome. Ta-da! Ta-da! Just, another, it looks like, what, 40 seconds on the spice bread here? This is the kind of stuff you need to let me know in the comments if you want me to skip. I'm sure that there are a lot of you that just want to see everything or that aren't even watching. You're just all tabbed and listening to my melodious, mellifluous tones of my voice. So, yes, but I would like to hear if you want to see stuff skipped or sped up or whatever. Because I can do that, it'll mean that each episode will take longer to release, but it's something that I'm happy to do if there's demand. 10 more spice bread needed. You can see it's gone yellow. Yellow means that you're not necessarily going to get a skill up each time, but you still have like a 50% shot. It's like 50 to 90%, I believe. And eventually it'll start turning green once we probably hit 35. There it is, yeah, green. Green means you have a very low chance of skilling up. Now, what we could do if we hated ourselves was just buy enough materials until we could actually force it to turn gray, which is when you gain absolutely nothing from it. But we're not going to do that. We'll just cook up the other stuff we have and we'll be fine. We'll cook up the charred wolf meat first. You see we've gained some wolf meat from killing things earlier. Almost everything that's useful has a white title. The title, like see here, the meaty batwing also has a white title. Rust metal braces, these all have white titles on the top. That means that they are useful, that you can do something with them. If they have a gray title, then that means that they are not useful, and you can't actually use them for anything. And we'll just cook up bat wings as well. So that's a good way of knowing. All the grays that you have in your inventory basically are designed just so that you can sell them and make a little bit of cash. Right, so we have now got 48 in our cooking skill. That's pretty good. It's not bad at all. We'll just go ahead and sell our food, because we're not really going to use food. We've got cannibalized, and we're at such a low level anyway. We'll take the ore and just move it down here so we can store it. Doing a little bit of inventory management. Sell off that stuff, and let's just quickly cast first aid. And cook up our last 2 linen bandages. Not even cook, just create. Alright, there we go. Inventory is nice and clear. Let's go ahead and turn in up here to the magistrate. Stuff.
Hello.
It is troubling to hear of the scourge slipping past the bulwark. Even now they are ceaseless in their assaults. But we will not give in. The Lich King is dead. We will not be taken again.
Trust no one.
Nice. Yes. Yes. Alright, our next quest is to head up to Garen's Haunt in Tirisfal Glades. So let's do that now. Do we have everything we need? Do we have any skills we can learn? Let's go ahead and check that now. Nope. No skills to learn. Ooh, yes. Yes. So when I scroll of Resurrect you, I just hit this button and type in your thing. Basically, I got 1 scroll of Resurrect that I send in-game per day, and I can send 1 from the battle.net website each day, which is why there has to be a queue for those. So again, if you're interested in being scroll of Resurrected or refer a friended, send me an email or a YouTube PM with which one and with your email address. And that makes it very easy for me to just add you to the list of people to do that too. The Scroll of Resurrection one is going to take quite a while. I'm not sure how many refer friends I'll have left at this point either. So both of those are going to be... They each have downsides associated with them. However, they're both also got magnificent upsides associated with them. Refer a friend will mean that if we ever play together, and I'll make an effort to play with anybody I refer a friend, then we gain triple experience while we're in a party and close together. And if I scroll or resurrect you, you can take any one of your existing characters, automatically upgrade them to level 80, and realm and faction transfer them over to this realm and horde for free. So that's all pretty awesome. And also, if you don't have Cataclysm, you get upgraded to it for free. So that's right. If you have a vanilla account with a level 1 on it that you just deactivated 6 years ago, and I scroll or resurrect you, you'll then have a Cataclysm account with a level 80 horde character on this realm. So that's pretty impressive benefits right there.
Forsaken.
Holland. He's an amateur. You don't need a fancy 2-story apothecarium to make some plague. You need love. and maybe some good assistance. Let me show you how plague is really made.
Goodbye.
My envoy just delivered me a bushel of gloomweed. Gloomweed! I don't need gloomweed, I need doomweed. You can see the predicament I'm in, Dratnos. I'll make it worth your while to gather what I need. Bring back to me enough doomweed, and I'll give you a suitable reward. It is my understanding that they like to plague the flora near the mass grave site to the north of the Brill graveyard. Hurry, and be mindful of the gnolls in the area.
My, you're a tall one.
Here's a little leper gnome. They're basically gnomes that are no longer associated with the Alliance because they've contracted this horrible disease that happened when the gnomes lost their capital city of Gnomeregon. The mass graves within the forest to the west of us were made to accommodate the impressive number of deaths Tirisfal suffered when the plague first came. The bodies in these graves have so far been spared an undeath, but the Scourge now send wrought-hide gnolls to gather the corpses and use them to bolster their armies. This cannot be allowed. Your task is twofold. Slay the wrought-hides at the mass grave and Garen's haunt, and gather from them the embalming ichor that gives them life. That's my
Alrighty
gnome
then.
voice. It's not that good. That's not a good gnome voice, but it's different. You know, you'll be able to tell when you're listening to me which voice, at least which race somebody is. Although I'm doing some of the Forsaken voices more human-y, because they're very raspy and annoying to listen to, in my opinion. Right, so we need to kill the guys over here and gather doomweed. Hiya! You can see each area has very much got its own feel. Like, we've got these little dead trees here with these plague vats things. This didn't used to be the case. In vanilla, you would go to a place and they'd all look the same often in the same zone. No longer true. No longer true. Very awesome. Hiya! This game, a lot of people find leveling to be not fun because they're not really immersed in the lore, but the lore is actually really cool in this game. It's a great story. They exist everywhere. The quest text thing is a bit outdated. It's kind of an old delivery system for information. That's why I'm very excited for Guild Wars 2. That MMO should be coming out this summer. I intend to be playing it. It's going to be focused much more, like, I think they read to you most of the stuff. Same with Star Wars The Old Republic, but that wasn't actually a good game, which was unfortunate. Hopefully Guild Wars 2 will be a good game, in that it'll have both good storytelling and a good gameplay dynamic. So yes, those are my opinions. Remember, everybody is entitled to an opinion. You don't have to listen to mine, and I'm probably not going to listen to... Well, I'm going to listen to yours, but I'm not going to subscribe to it necessarily. Here we go. Wrought-hide mongrel. You can see there's a little copper vein there, and because we've got tracking turned on for copper, we can very easily just, or for ore in general, there's the little sparkles, and it's very easy for us to find it. Bing! Bing! There we go, and we've gained a shadow gem, which is a rarish gem. We use that for various jewel crafting stuff. It's also used in blacksmithing and a few other things, I think, but I'm sure we'll find a use for it in jewel crafting. We'll probably do a profession-based episode in a few episodes. Hopefully I'll be able to create... I plan on doing everything on camera, but again, if you don't want to see certain things done on camera, please do let me know, and I will try and do something to make sure that everybody is at least marginally happy. Ta-da! I'll try and let you know if it's going to be a crafting episode or something like that, so that then you can skip it if you don't want to see it. That'll be at least what I'll do, depending on what kind of feedback I get. Alright, we've got 2 enemies here. We should be able to take this one down. I'm going to go ahead and put a damage over time on the other one, because it'll have a nice long time to work. I can hit tab to just cycle between my targets. And there we go. He's down, and victory rush. Pwah! I shouldn't have hit Ren there, but that's okay. So each ability you can only use once every, like, 1.5 seconds. Not even, like... Each ability has its own cooldown, of course. Like, Strike has a 3-second cooldown. But then there's also what's called the global cooldown. Which... Oops, lag, sorry. Sorry about that there, guys. I don't know what's causing that. Hopefully that'll be fixed for the next session. There's the global cooldown, which basically says, like, you can hit any one button, but you won't be able to do another ability for 1.5 seconds regardless of the cooldown. So anytime you hit one ability, you can't use another one for 1.5 seconds. Usually. There are certain abilities that are so-called off the global cooldown, because they're designed to be used, like, instantly. So, like, there are ones that let you break out of stun, for example. Those are usually off the global cooldown, because you can just, like, tap them instantly. But everything else, like, see here, if I hit that, there's a little circle thing that goes around my existing abilities. That's the global cooldown. Everything requires 1.5 seconds to cool down after you use an ability. Which is, it's a good mechanic, because otherwise you'd just be spamming all your buttons really, really rapidly. That would not be fun. Almost every MMO that I know has it. Although I think Guild Wars 2 again is doing something differently. They don't even have auto attacks in Guild Wars 2. It's going to be a very interesting system. I'm excited to see if it works. I'm kind of jaded though at this point because I've been through like 8 MMOs that were just supposed to be the new awesome MMO, and none of them really have been. All right, there's our grave robber. We need to kill some grave robbers and get embalming ichor from them. Oh, it looks like we've been killing the wrong rothhide even. Have we? Oh no, we killed the right ones. We've just killed all the mongrels. We now only need to kill grave robbers. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's get him. Hiya! I love jumping through the air at the start of combat. It's a little thing, but it's cool. I appreciate it. I approve. Hiya! Okay. Let's head on over here. Attack. 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 And he's dead. It's nice. We've almost got abilities to be using them once each global cooldown now, which is very nice. Alright, there's a lot of grave robbers over there. I'm going to avoid that. Concentration, just to try and instead focus on just killing the ones walking along the outside here. These are gnolls. Gnolls are a race of aggressive little beasties. They're not kobolds. Kobolds and gnolls are often confused. Kobolds like candles, gnolls just are annoying. If you've ever played through the starting human area, there's a very infamous gnoll called Hogger. And he was basically the first elite ever that most people experienced who were playing humans. And so he would rip them apart. And, oh, we've just been cursed here. Curse of Fuel. Intellect reduced by 2 for 2 minutes. We don't use intellect, so it's not a problem. Intellect is basically a stat that helps you out with casting and stuff. People are talking, or one person's talking in guild chat right now. Again, this episode was pre-recorded, so if you're in the guild now and you're wondering why it seems so empty right now, that's just because this episode has been pre-recorded, because I'm super busy the week that this episode comes out. So yes, this episode's actually been recorded before episode 2 came out. Yeah, tenses are weird. I'm talking to you in the future. You're all in the future. Future people. Send me back some information about what kind of stocks and bonds I should be purchasing at this point in time, based on your calculations. Ooh, some more ore over there. Alright, we'll head over, kill that grave robber, get the ore, and then return up north to turn in our quest. Mystical quest. Kill him. Kill the grave robber. Wow, this episode has been going on quite a while. I've just gotten lost in all this exciting killing of gnolls. Hiya! Hiya! Dead. Gotcha! Let's get some ore. A little bit of ore. A little bit of ore right there. There we go. Halfway through to level 9. At level 9, we will gain access to Thunderclap, which is going to let us clap the ground with thunderness. And what else do we gain? At level 10, we'll gain Defensive Stance and Parry, which will be super awesome. Now, in Vanilla, you had to go through all these quests to get different class items. So, like, at level 10, you'd have a class quest to go gain something, regardless of your class. It's like, as a warrior, you'd have to go do this quest to learn about Defensive Stance. They've removed that now, which is kind of sad, because those were little elements that, you know, were kind of charming, and each class did them, and you'd reach level, like, 60, and there would be people who hadn't done their Berserker Stance quest because they were silly or whatever, or they just didn't know it existed. Those were, yeah, you know, it makes sense that they removed them, but it's also a little bit of nostalgia. That's the primary thing. Whenever people are talking about things that are bad that were removed, usually objectively, it's good that they were removed, but there's also nostalgia. People liked the way it was because people on the internet do.
What now?
Who bought me Gloomweed? Gloomweed! Oh, no, it's they brought me Gloomweed! Gloomweed! Ah, my Doomweed, excellent. This will come in quite handy. You've done me, the lady, a fine service today, Dratnos. As promised, here is the reward that you deserve. We'll take that quest next episode.
Need assistance?
Is your task complete? Have you destroyed those dog things and drained them of their ichor? Expertly done, Dradnos. The Scourge are mistaken if they think they can use those corpses against us, and the fluid you gathered from the wrought-hide slaves will be studied by my master. It may have secrets we can use against them.
Here we gain our Cold Steel Gauntlets here. Getting that. And now we'll take all these quests next episode. So next episode, we're going to do some stuff up in here, probably return to Brill, and we'll see what happens with that. Also, it's fun to note that if you pull out your map, your character actually pulls out a map now, which is also kind of new. I think that's Cataclysm new. So, yes, super awesome. Thank you everybody for watching. This has been Dratnos. Please remember to like this video if you liked it, and Subscribe if you want to subscribe and see future content in your subscription box. Dislike this video if you disliked it. And favorite this video if it was one of your favorites. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.